Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hey everybody, for my jazz album, Close to You, and I'm glad I got y'all close to me and this one close to me, and hope y'all are close to somebody. Hey, they joining in. Linda Kazera joined, Mohawk Bondi joined, Miss One Hope joined, and we got folks joining in on both all platforms. Greg and Linda watching from their backyard fire pit. All right, fantastic. Well, this is Dr. Willie Jolley and my beautiful bride.
This is Dee.
We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets for Shaping a Great Marriage. I want to invite you and welcome you all to join us every Monday night. And we're glad you're here tonight. We've got a special show for you tonight. One of my buddies, one of my guys is in town in D.C., is online with us. And he and his wife, we went to hear them the other day. They are so incredible. Oh, I'm getting ready. I haven't told his name yet. Okay, he and his wife are so outstanding. He is a former NBA basketball player who transitioned into speaking and became a world-class, world-renowned Hall of Famer. And I was honored to be able to induct him into the Speakers Hall of Fame, the one and only Walter Bond and his beautiful bride, Antoinette. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And Willie, you forgot one thing, that you mentored me along the way to get to the Hall of Fame. Let's not make that get lost in this conversation tonight. You're one of the first people I met when Antoinette and I decided to launch a speaking business. So thank you for that.
Well, my pleasure, and I'm honored. Now I must take a little more point. I think I'm the only person who can say I've got 4 Hall of Famers that I mentored, and wow. And so I'm very grateful that Walter Bond, his bride, and we went to hear them. He's doing a tour, and we went to, when he came to DC, to tour.
Peak Performers
Acceleration.
Accelerate Peak Performance
Huddle.
You got it. Thank you, Dee. Yes.
Now, I got to say, I'm wearing my National Negro League Baseball Museum shirt, but I don't have a basketball jersey that I wear. I don't have a basketball jersey that I had in my collection. So I had to put on whatever sports memorabilia kind of stuff I had. This is it. Because this guy is a former NBA player. He played for 8 seasons in the NBA, but then his story is so profound. But it's not about his NBA or about the fact now he's on corporate boards and is in the Speaker Hall of Fame. It's about their marriage, and we wanted to talk to y'all about marriage in the difficult times and how do you stay together. So we're grateful. Brenda Colson's here, Greg Kazera's here. So many are joining in. So here's what I want to say to everybody. Statistics show, we know the statistics show where y'all read my book and y'all gone to the TED Talk, at the beginning of our TED Talk. And if you haven't seen the TED Talk, anybody who's watching, you can get the TED Talk at JolleyMarriage.com. Dee and I do a TED Talk on how to never, ever argue again in marriage. We've been married for 39 years in about
June 28th.
About 39 years. Haven't had an argument in 37 years. Now, we were on the Today Show, and they said, you never had an argument. We said, we didn't say that. We said we haven't had an argument in 37 years. Those first couple of years were like World War III. But we found some wise mentors, and we got with them, and they changed our marriage, changed our life. So we then put in the book that statistics show, the reason we write the book, statistics show that 50% of marriages in America break up. And of the 50% that remain, statistics show that 40% of those people who remain are miserable and are only staying in for financial reasons or for the kids. And so marriages break up for 1 of 3 big reasons: sex, money, communications. I use that as my starting point because statistics show that professional athletes, the marriage divorce rate for professional athletes is between 70 and 80%. Between 70 and 80% of professional athletes get divorced. Yet, Walter Bond and Antoinette Bond have stayed together from the professional.
They thrived.
They didn't just survive, they thrived, and they're thriving. So welcome. How long have you guys been married?
30 years.
30 years.
30 years. This year it'll be 31. Yes.
I think we were in Miami for your son's graduation, and then y'all had a 25th anniversary 5 years ago. This is the 30th anniversary coming up, and I know we're gonna have to come now because y'all have a big party on your yacht. So we come down on the ride on the boat.
Right.
Ride on the boat. But y'all have been married for 30 years this year, and that meant that you met Antoinette when you still were in the professional basketball league. So why don't you tell us? I know she went to Howard. How did y'all connect? How did you get married? Pretty quick synopsis of your relationship.
You know, mutual friends. You know, I'm from Chicago, South Side, and my
South
boy
Side?
from Chicago went to Howard, and I was up there visiting my buddies, and I saw Antoinette at a party. And I tell people, you know, when you play in the NBA, you know, you see pretty, you see beautiful, you see cute all the time, but I only saw white once. And the moment I saw Antoinette, I was like, yo, who's getting with her right there? And when I said it, everybody started laughing. And I was like, what? Her current boyfriend was standing right next to me when I said it.
Oh, wow.
Like, man, that's his woman. I was like, man, my bad. And I go back in the corner, you know, when I was here in DC visiting my Howard buddies, and I went to the University of Minnesota. So I was out of my set, right? And so 4 months later, I'm trying out for the Dallas Mavericks, and one of my boys from Howard was like, man, remember the little cutie in DC? I was like, of course. Like, dude, she just moved to Dallas, right? And so I saw her in DC, and literally God sent her to me in Dallas 4 months later, and we got engaged within 5 months and married within 11. So literally, you know, I tell people, man, she's my rib. And so when I first saw her, she's my original side chick, right? She's my rib. And we've been together, man. Literally, we went to a movie on our first date. We can't even remember the movie because we talked through the whole movie, and we've been together ever since.
Wow, that's fantastic. You got 3 children and 2 boys and a son. I mean, 2 girls and a boy.
Yeah.
My man Wesley, and who went to Howard. And
all 3 went to Howard.
All 3 of our kids went to Howard.
All right, I know Wesley because we were looking over y'all. By that time, we knew y'all well, and we knew Wesley had my cell. If he needed something, he had an extra set of parents in town, and so we were able to at least know that. So, okay, so you're playing basketball. You started. Where did you start your basketball career?
My basketball career started in the NBA with the Dallas Mavericks. That was my rookie year.
Started with the Dallas Mavericks. Okay.
Then we left Dallas and went to Utah for 2 years. You know, that Mormon environment makes you have kids. And so we started having kids, you know, pretty much once we moved to Salt Lake. And then we ended up going over to Europe. You know, you want to have a long NBA career. And, you know, when the NBA door closes, you have more shelf life in Europe. So then we lived in Italy, Greece, Germany, had the whole family with us in Europe, and just a great basketball run. And when it ended, that's when Antoinette became my star. You know, she had a corporate background. I had never had a job. And so she went and got a job, you know, and got some benefits. You know, I tell people, man, you know, you talk about these basketball wives, most of them, when the NBA is over, they bounce. Right. You know, my wife went and was the breadwinner, you know, for a year or 2, benefits. And, you know, I needed some time to figure it out. I had never had a real job. So I give her credit for staying with me, obviously. Our parents were married. Our parents never divorced. To death do they part. And my father passed away. Her mom passed away. So we came from that background. You know, our parents were together our whole lives. And so we're committed. You know, I wish we could say we don't have arguments like you guys.
I know, right?
We beef all the time.
Right.
We were beefing this morning, right? But we're committed. We're committed. And, you know, when we have a disagreement, you know, when it's over, it's over. It's not like it's a death.
Amen. Our pastor calls it intense fellowship. Okay.
Exactly. Intense fellowship. Exactly.
So y'all been together now with the you just said something. Most basketball wives, and we got these television shows, basketball wives, when things get tough, when the money dries up, when the NBA contract ends, and you in your speech the other day, you gave such a great story. I could see you in the story of how your career ended. You know, you said I was on the.
He needs to tell it.
You're right. Let you tell it. Nobody can tell it like you can tell it.
Speakers,
Willie got the gift, man.
Right.
So we let Willie do it.
I can't help it, but you know, I reiterate what I hear. So
Hey, Dee, that's your job to help him. Thank you for helping him. And you know, it's simple. You know, we got married and we were committed to being married. And when my career was over, you know, the checking account is dwindling. So you're talking about pressure. I mean, you're talking about some intense pressure. And again, I had never had a real job. And so Antoinette stepped up.
Wow.
It was just kind of that simple. And then she did pharmaceutical sales. Didn't like that job. And after the best thing we did, and it was Antoinette's idea, we joined a country club. And she was like, we need to get you around successful business guys. And then she hired me a business coach. And being a former athlete, I'm like, yo, love it. I need a coach. I just never had to pay for him. You know? Right. It was great, but it was free to me. I played for Jerry Sloan in Utah. It was free to me. But when basketball ended, I believed in coaching, and Antoinette had the foresight to hire me a business coach. Yeah. And that really was a turning point of me beginning to learn what business is all about, how to be professional, where my gift was. You know, I was always a very good athlete, obviously, to play pro ball, but I had to find another gift. And I discovered another gift, and I believe in coaching and mentors. You know, Willie, you were a great mentor to me. Keith Harrell, Desi Williamson. You know, God surrounded me with amazing mentors, African-American men that were Hall of Fame speakers.
Yes.
You know, it's not like I heard of Michael Jordan. It's like the Michael Jordans were in my life, right? And so you guys were honest with me. You pushed me. You challenged me. Antoinette was the business behind the whole thing. She ran the office. And I tell people, man, if anything had ever happened to us, I don't have to give my wife half. She earned it. She deserves half. Why?
Amen. Big point. Let me put a pin right there. You don't have to give your wife anything. She earned it, and y'all discuss it. I had a lady call today, who said, my husband, she'd been married 48 years, but said, my husband, I said, how's your marriage? Because she had come to our home one time. We had that was, I'm not saying her name, but she came, and she and her husband, and they had been married, at that point, probably 40 years. And she said, our marriage was bad. And I said, how's it going now? She said, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. Because he won't talk to me. He won't tell me about the finances, the business. He pays the bills.
Well, he's old school.
He won't tell me anything. I don't know anything about the house, the finances, and we're not partners. And that's what I want to talk about in this. Y'all are duo-preneurs. You're duo-preneurs.
I never heard that word.
I never heard that word until Antoinette shared it with us when we talked about doing this. Duo-preneurs, where they work together. Now, we will tell you, when we first started working together 25 or so years ago, a little more than that now, 30 years ago, people in the speaking business told us, don't do it. Don't do it, because so many people in speaking could not handle it because it pushed extra strain on a relationship. To work together, who's going to make the decisions?
I think behind the scenes,
they
stress that often the speaker is different off stage than
right.
And because of that, the egos get in the way.
Yes.
And leads to divorce.
So many of them were divorced, who were working together, whatever. Y'all have made it work first in basketball and then in speaking, and built a massive, folks, when I say massive, empire of books and coaching and speaking for major corporations. And he sits on a corporate board, at least one. I think it's a couple, but I know he sits on at least one major corporate board. And that's because of them working together. Talk a little bit about Antoinette. How did you, what was it that allowed you to say, I got this, Walter, not letting his ego get in the way?
Well, I think one, as Walter said, I was the one after college. I got recruited from Howard to go work for Dr. Pepper Company. And so when you get recruited from a company, it's similar like getting recruited from sports. That means a company is making an investment in you. So when I was hired by the Dr. Pepper Company, I knew, because I went through all these rounds of interviews to even get the opportunity, I knew I had something to give professionally. So I knew I had a strong sales background. I knew what I brought to the table. And so for me, I always saw myself actually to be a corporate executive. That was my track that I was believing to be on. Then I met Walter. And I saw myself, I took a back seat to allow him to shine with basketball. So our 20s was really all about his career. And so then we had a franchise actually during this process. So I ran our franchise business that we did really up until when we were trying to do it at the same time as basketball. So I would stay back in Minnesota, some with the children, when he would go overseas some. So when basketball ended, it was really like a relief that one basketball was over. We had closed our Gymboree franchise, and we were at a new place where when that closed down, when I went back and I got a sales job in pharmaceuticals, and Walter is working to discover his next. So when he came to me and said, hey, I want to be a motivational speaker, it was like, you know what, I can help you with that. And why? Because, when I was at Howard, well, I've always was the person involved in student government. I was always the person involved in like bringing talent to Howard. I was on the homecoming committee. I was on a lot of those committees behind the scenes. So I've always been doing behind the scenes work. And so for me, it was like, oh, okay, I have a talent and I know how to book a talent. I know how to sell, promote. And so all my skills actually got to come back and get engaged, while his skills and his gifts of being on the platform, they were engaged. So our business really revolved around us doing two different things. He had to do a great job on stage, and I had to do a great job behind the scenes, making sure he was booked, coordinating travel, coordinating everything behind the scenes. And I think a lot of times people don't realize, yes, you see the talent on stage, but there's a whole lot of details happening behind the scenes. And I think, we valued each other's role. I mean, I think Walter understood that this, with the basketball ending, I think he realized, okay, he needed a partner. And I was a formidable partner where it was like, okay, we both are skilled, and how are we going to maximize each other's skills? And I think the cool thing is that I've never needed to compete with him. I know how to complete him. So I know that.
That's great.
Let's say that again. That's a powerful line.
I don't need to compete with him because I know I complete him. So I'm secure in that. I know that.
Wow.
Let me say this, guys. One beautiful thing about it is that my family are preachers and teachers. That's just kind of my lineage. Antoinette comes from an entrepreneurial family, right? And so the beauty of being a former athlete, it's all about teamwork. I got a chance to play with great athletes in the NBA. So you had to have confidence in your ability, but you also have to have trust and complete respect for your teammates' ability. And that's what we brought to the business. I respect her. She respects me. She had her job. I had my role, and she ran a great office, and I would kill it on the platform. And that's what we did,
Wow.
Everyone stayed in their own lane. And so a lot of couples, we feel like get into this ego trip where I'm not working for him. Like, you're not working for anybody. Y'all working together. What are you talking about? Working? Y'all see the bills over there. Yeah. Y'all see the great opportunity. You're not working for him. You're not working for her. You guys are working together. And I think if couples can solve that riddle, they can live their best life. Right?
I love that. I love that we're not working for each other. We're working together to build a dream and build an empire and a legacy. Because you got 3 kids, and at some point, they're going to have families. So this is profound. Okay, real quick. We got time. I'm not ready. We might go to overtime today because this is so profound. What are some of the secrets? You've already said we're not competing, we complete.
Complete each other.
We complete each other. What are some of the other secrets you've said that you think you would tell your children about creating a great marriage?
I would say the number one thing for sure working together is that we separate work from our personal life. And so although we're working together all day, but we work very hard till at 5 p.m. And so work is over. So even if we may not even agree with something in our work day, we know how at 5 o'clock turn it off. Now we're back to our coupledom. And so I love that we enjoy the same things. We travel together. So once our kids got out of school and they were off in college, then I started traveling and started doing a whole lot more with Walter, getting more front and center and kind of getting out there. So I think that's a big piece, is knowing how to turn it off. And then remembering why you were together. Because I think a lot of times couples get lost. They get lost with the kids. They get lost with their careers. I think you got to always come back to center and remind yourself that you really do love each other and care for each other. And like, we're friends. And I think you got to be friends. So we're friends.
Chapter number 1 in the book is friends first.
Yes.
Chapter number 1, friends first. That many people get married for the wrong reasons. We say in the book, they get married because somebody looked good, somebody had some money, somebody had a fancy car. But when you marry your best friend, your marriage goes much smoother. She's my best friend. Dee's my best friend. And our son was by today, and he's an attorney, as y'all might know, at Howard University, by the way. He works at Howard University, HU. All right.
Yeah.
And you know, he works at HU, but he came by and we were just telling him how we will sometimes do nothing but just be in each other's presence. And how that, so I love that you learn how to separate work from home life. And even though if you're in the home, working out of the home, we have a deal where we have our offices in our lower level. And then when we come upstairs to have our, this is our kitchen, but our family level, we watch a movie together, or we take it up to the next level, which is our bedroom level. Then we have a gym level on the 4th floor. So those levels are our family level, our family time. And so that's great. So one is making sure you're friends. Oh, how do y'all
separate work from personal?
Yeah, separate work. Anything else, Walter? How do you take? How did you handle such a smart, proactive wife? Because my wife is smart and proactive as well.
Well, you know, and you know, you know, my wife is passionate and she's opinionated and she speaks her mind, right? And so the first thing I learned is that my parents were old school, right? My dad was alpha male and my mom just loved being his wife. And so that's what I grew up watching. What I realized after a couple of years of marriage, I'm not my dad and my wife is not my mom.
Amen. So okay, smart man.
You know, there's some adjustments to be made. You know, my mom would totally get out the way and let my dad lead and ask no questions. If something was going on, my mom say, ask your dad. And she had complete faith and complete submission, basically, to my dad. And so Antoinette, she gonna tell me what she think, right? With confidence. And so it took me a while to adjust, to be honest. You know, I had to realize that, you know what, I can't sit here and gonna duplicate what my mom and dad had, because as a ball player, it's different chemistry.
Yes.
You know, I played with all kinds of teammates, you know, and different teammates brought different aspects, different skill sets, different abilities. And you had to adjust. You know, I played 8 years of pro ball, right? And so I loved it. Guys got hurt, guys got cut. You constantly had to adjust. So honestly, I think my sports background really helped. And I think the fact that my parents were committed. You know, one day I called home complaining and I was mad, man. I was, Dad, you don't understand it, blah, 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 blah. Old school dad. He said, man, I know your wife. He called Antoinette a little bit. I understand a little bit. I get her personality. I totally understand. But I don't want to hear you complaining. Your job is to keep your family together. It's that simple. He said, look, son, I don't want to hear it. Your job is to keep, he would not let me express myself. He would not let me get nothing. He said, look, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Your job is to keep your family together. So think about it.
Wow.
When you're in moments of adversity, you better be careful who you go talk to.
Yes.
You marry and your girls are divorced and that's who you going to vent to?
Right.
Right.
Come on. Be careful who you go and vent to in your moments to make sure you got some godly counsel, some godly advice, and nobody's giving you feedback. But, oh, I ain't going to let them do it. Man, my ex-husband did that to me. If you go to the wrong person through adversity, that could be a death blow.
That's right. Folks, I want to make sure y'all, I got a couple of things I want to reiterate that he said that were powerful. One is, we say in the book, when you leave your parents, you leave, cleave, weave. You weave a new culture. Now, many people make the mistakes of saying, well, that's not how we did it when I was growing up in my house. But you're weaving a new culture, and you are not the same as your parents. So that's one. Second is that his father said, your job is to keep your family together. And he got wise counsel from his father. He didn't go to a separated man, a divorced man, to ask for advice about
one of my boys. I ain't go to one of my boys.
Don't go there. Do not, folks, talk to people who are not happily married. We've said it for years. Do not get counsel from people who are not happily married. You want to talk to people who are good mentors. And you would say there are two ways to any goal: mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there, but one will get you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. Get you some good mentors. They got mentorship from people who have been happily married. Stay in your marriage. Work through the difficulty. Okay, well, another thing I want to ask is that many men have a problem when a woman is the major breadwinner. And you got past that, didn't you, Walter?
You know, I needed it. I mean, we literally had no money coming in, and I had never had a job. And Antoinette had to give up her career to follow my basketball career. I mean, you know, when I made the Utah Jazz, she gave up a great career with Dr. Pepper, and I knew that, and I didn't forget that. So when my career was over, I appreciate the fact that she was willing to step up and say, look, I haven't worked for 7 years or 6 years or whatever, 8 years or whatever. It must have been about 7 years exactly. After we had 3 kids, she was like, okay, I'll step up. And I was like, thank you, baby. Help a brother out. Get some benefits. Get something. We need.
I love it.
She stepped up.
Men, did you hear this? Men, I want men to hear this. This is a professional athlete. He was a macho man, but he realized that his wife had a skill set, and he didn't let his ego, pride poison his pride. Oh, I was in my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, chapter number 3. Don't let your pride poison your prosperity. Come on, somebody. You know, he said, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. But once he figured it out.
And in the meantime, though, to Antoinette's credit, she took a job as a pharmaceutical sales rep. We got her benefits. We had some money coming in. And then she was very proactive helping me develop, you know, and she was like, look, we're going to join the country club. We're going to get you a business coach. I never forget, she hired a business coach, and she wouldn't tell me how much. And she finally told me how much. I was like, what? We don't hire. And you know, it was a brilliant move because the business coach built our first brand, Mr. Accountability. Then he really taught me a lot about business. Like, you got to make sales calls, dude. You know, if you're going to grow a business. So I credit her for being a stopgap financially when we had nothing coming in, and really still stay focused and helping me develop. And once we kind of launched our business, she was able to settle back down and create a custom life. You know, we had a business running out the house. She could get the kids off to school, work out throughout the day, go pick the kids up. And really now we travel the world and we buying yachts and houses, and it's all worked out. But it was some tough times. It was some tough times,
but y'all hung in there, worked together, and you stayed together in the tough times. And that's what I want people to hear, that you stay together through the tough times. It builds your relationship, it builds your marriage, but it builds your fortune.
Absolutely. You don't have divided income going all over the place.
Amen. 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 We have been working now together, as I said, about 30 years. And, you know, she's the brains behind this operation. People know that. She's the brains, and I'm good with that. And he tells me, here's what the money is. Let me tell y'all this. When COVID hit, March the 9th, 2020, my calendar was booked for the year. I mean, I was packed with speeches, and they all went away one day.
Yeah.
I fell apart. I said, what are we going to do? Oh, my God. I'm in my office, and I go into her office and say, everything's gone. She said, don't worry. I've been putting money away for years.
Right.
We good. We okay. We gonna make it. And I could sleep that night because my brilliant wife had been socking away money in my 401k. Because, you know, I'm a risk taker. I would have I would have shot the wad on my business. I would have bought some new books, or I would have shot it all trying to build some new part of my business. She said, I've been socking it away for years. And that's a brilliant wife. Okay, now none of your kids are married yet, are they?
Not yet.
Not
Nope.
yet.
So when you talk to them about finding a good spouse, Walter, you use scripture. You know, when you are proud of Proverbs, you said it that way. Share that with us, please.
Well, he who finds a wife finds a good thing
Yeah.
and obtains favor from the Lord. You know, I think that, you know, I do a lot of work through the years for the NBA, you know, NBA rookies. And I can't really disclose that conversation because it's a lot of conversation. But
I'm sure it's a straight talk conversation.
oh, I'm Southside Chicago, right? And so I keep it real because a lot of these guys' criteria for a woman is just off.
Yes.
I mean, it's just bad, you know, and then they're paying the price for it, you know, and now they're alone, they're broke, and they have nobody to help them. And I'm like, dude, I had a great wife that helped me, you know, and they're looking at you like, man, y'all still together? Yeah, I'm married a wife. Like, what'd you marry?
Right.
You know, but when I speak to, we're going to do a program for the NBA Retired Players Association. You know, my motto is, I don't hoop no more, but I'm still balling. Right. And so when we get a chance to get around former players, it breaks my heart sometimes. You know, I got former players that are household names. They're 45, 50, 60 years old and kind of feel like disappointments. I'm like, man, how did you become the best basketball player in the world and you walking away feeling disappointed? Well, I didn't have the career I'm supposed to have. And we do a lot of encouragement, man. That's a lonely place, man. You know, you got to athlete when the money's gone, when the fame is gone, the women are gone, the family leaves. You know, that's a lonely place, right? And so I'm just very thankful that we didn't have those kind of families, that we came from normal families that support us, loved us unconditionally. We were not a gravy train for anybody, right? We was nobody's bank. And so when basketball ended, we made a smooth transition. So now we've been able to, you know, mentor several former players to help them be successful after basketball. And, you know, because of Antoinette, I've been able to have an amazing career. We make more money now than when we played pro ball. And it's all teamwork, though. It's all teamwork. I didn't do it. She didn't do it. We did it. And I know that, and she knows it. And it's real, you know, so egos and being good teammates. We're together all day with an occasional potty break, right? We're together all day long. If she runs to the bathroom, I'm knocking on the door. You know? Hey, come on.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Before I go further, I want to make sure I give y'all an opportunity to share with people how they can reach your coaching. You got a coaching empire you're building. I mean, I'm very proud. They have online. They have all sorts of coaching options now. We got a lot of people who'll be watching this who'll say, I need a coach. You need a coach. He said something the other day. It's impossible to reach your full potential without a coach. Did I quote you right, brother? Did I quote you?
Spot on. Spot on.
And so
Antoinette's going to explain our business, but let me say this. That's the one thing I learned on my way to the NBA. And it's the one thing I learned as we became Hall of Fame speakers. We always had coaches and mentors. And I don't have time to distinguish the difference, but coaching and mentors are very important for any one of us to reach our potential in life and business or whatever you're pursuing.
You know, from a business perspective, what we noticed after the keynote, because, you know, before our business was totally 100% built on, okay, a keynote, let's book. We were just booking keynotes. Right. And then you would obviously sell some books and some tapes and some DVDs. So we did that process. And then we started realizing, like, wait a minute, people want more. And so people want, not only do they want more of the messaging, they wanted more of the connection, more of the community. And so over time, we built and released a platform called Peak Performance Huddle. And so what we did with Peak Performance Huddle was, one, bring in all of our content, because, you know, with a keynote, that's like a 45-minute, 60-minute moment. That's almost like a hello. And then we realized, wow, the whole transformational process, it takes time. So transformation and like listening and faith, it comes how? By hearing things over and over and over again. And so we created our Peak Performers Huddle as this platform, as a tool where we actually teach all and go in depth with all of our trainings, all of our teaching. And we do a lot of one-on-one coaching with business owners, business leaders. We work with different business teams. Everything is built around a couple things. One, building a championship organization, making sure you have strong teamwork, having the right type of culture, and really getting focused and really getting you where you want to be in your business. And it's that simple. We really connect with people.
Wow. Well, I loved you said the other day that you realized the business of people is what took your business to the next level. Where can people get access to your coaching? We want people to be able to access you.
It's peakperformershuddle.com. Peakperformershuddle.com.
Great. And Walter's books, and for those who might want him to come and speak, is at walterbond.com.
And that's at walterbond.com. Yes.
Great. And you'll get a number of books that's just been phenomenal. I never forget him calling me. He called me, and he was smart enough to say, right at first thing, Desi Williamson, my cousin.
You're right.
He said, I get all these calls, and I can't give everybody, the football. He said, Desi Williams, my cousin, told me to call you. Well, Desi was the fourth black person to get inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. I was fifth. And then after he got on a funeral, and he said, and I know Keith Harrell, who was the third black person to be inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. I said, you've done really well, Grasshopper. You have said two names that get my attention. What you need. He said, I need you. Everybody say you're the one to really talk to, because you do the real hands-on. Because Keith was, he'd give you the flyby. Okay. And Desi was really doing other things. He was doing his barbecue, but I was full-time speaking and helping speakers grow. I said, let's talk. And so I gave him some things to do. He did them, and he's a Hall of Fame speaker. He's a best-selling author, and now he has this incredible coaching model that's helping organizations. And he sits on corporate boards. Now, I ain't on a corporate board. Come on,
well, let me add this as well. Antoinette coaches as well. So what we do now is that the keynote is like the commercial for our real business. Yeah. And then when we upsell them to a coaching or a consulting program, we co-teach it, right? Because Antoinette deals with the clients. You don't talk to me until we book the deal. So when I show up in the ballroom, they know Antoinette as much as they know me. And so when we start co-teaching, after 4 or 5 months, they're addicted to Antoinette, and almost like, sneak out the back of the ballroom, so to speak. And so Antoinette's really developed as a coach. A lot of people like her style better than my style, and it works. We're launching a sales training. That's why we're here in DC, man. We partnered with NAFA, which is the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, and we're going to launch some sales trainings all across the country, because as a ball player, you have to develop NBA skill, right? I had to learn how to dribble like an NBA ball player, shoot like an NBA ball player, and that was years of work. And so in business, you're fooling yourself to think you're going to make a whole lot of money and you don't know how to sell. So we're teaching small business owners fundamentals, and for NAFA, they hired us to teach them our shark mindset sales performance system. If you know how to sell, it's like Steph Curry. You leave me open, we're going to knock it down. Right. You mean to tell me you need a speaker and you're going to talk to me? I got to close it. You need a lawyer. You need a dentist. It doesn't matter what you're selling. If you know how to sell, you should never hear the word no.
Amen. Amen. I love something you said the other day, that when you're a professional ball player, you used to go out on the court every day and take shots. You would take foul shots. You take practice shots. But when you became a speaker, your coach told you, how many sales calls are you taking? You said, what do you mean? I'm waiting for the phone to ring. He said,
right.
You got to be like that ball player. You got to call. You got to be doing that repetition. And that fishing is make a sales call, asking, how can we help you grow business? How can we do business? And when you said that, I said, he's right on. That's right. That's exactly right on. Okay.
It's all about fundamentals, Willie. Sports and business, it's all about fundamentals and the mastery of fundamentals. And that's what we teach in Peak Performance Huddle. And here's my last comment. As an athlete, I had some place to go. You went to the gym and all your resources were there. They had basketballs there, coaches were there, the weight room was there, treatment was there, everything was at the gym, and that gave me hope. And so when basketball was over, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know where to go naturally. And so we created Peak Performance Huddle because small business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals who are hungry, they need somewhere to go to get mentored, coached, supported, resources. And we're helping people double their salaries. We're taking people walking up to us who've never spoken before, on the verge of making $1 million in the speaking business. We're nurturing small business owners and entrepreneurs on how to explode their businesses and become dominant in their industry. And Jersey Mike's Subs is one of our biggest clients. We've been with them for 8 years. And 8 years ago, I told them on the national stage, let's go kick Subway's butt. They all looked around like, what? Subway? Let's go kick their butt. I'm a ball player. Let's compete. And all of a sudden, by giving permission to them to go and compete, right now, Jersey Mike's is the hottest franchise in the game. And Subway's dying a slow death. And the truth is, fundamentals are the reason why Jersey Mike's is winning and winning big. And so we teach fundamentals. Anyone in small business environment, once you get your hands on our fundamentals, they're simple, but they're explosive. But you need to be immersed. You know, if you go to the swimming pool, most people at the shallow end. Very few people go to the deep. And so in our coaching program, we invite you to the deep, but then we're going to teach you how to swim. And once you learn how to swim, you don't have to hold on to the side of the pool. You can get in that ocean. You can get in that ocean if you really know how to swim. And you can go anywhere you want to go in that ocean.
Legacy. You got 3 children. I think a couple of them work with you. Is that correct?
Two. Yeah.
So what's the legacy? Y'all are relatively, I still say youngsters. Okay, y'all still youngins. Okay, yeah. But you got children who work for you. They're adults, young adults. So what's the legacy for your marriage, for your relationship, for your family, for your future? Where do y'all see this going for the long term? And what are some of the goals and dreams that y'all have been working on and sharing with your family?
You know, one thing that Walter was just talking about, if you don't sell, you don't have a business. But I'm going to say, if you don't scale, you don't have a business. And so our scaling gave us the thought process of scaling is really what allowed us to see opportunity for our children to get involved. So our younger one, she's our sales director, but we actually call her our chief relationship manager. And by her learning those skills, doing it for our business, now she could actually take what we're doing, because everything we're doing now is all about us building a legacy, having trainings and systems and processes that should be able to live on beyond us. And that's the thing that we recognize. We're like, okay, yeah, people come to a keynote, have a great time. But what happens if something happens to you? And we've seen too many people in this industry, something happens to the speaker, the main provider, and the family is like, their life is interrupted. Life is like changed. And we're like, we don't want to be those people. So we're like, you know what? We got to make sure that we're putting the work in right now, that we're creating scalable models, scalable systems, scalable programs that can live on beyond us.
Oh,
That's a priority.
I love this. Let me ask you this. You said you have family time, and y'all obviously spending a lot of time together. One of the things we talk about, always date your mate. And that's one of the points. And you've already kind of covered that. And you talked about money and how y'all work. Y'all are partners. Y'all decide about the money, how it's spent, where it goes. And she encourages you to do that. I want to ask you about this. Communication. The biggest challenge in all marriages is communication. How do y'all work through communication? I mean, one of the things we tell people, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. That's biblical. How do y'all work through when you have different disagreements?
You know, it's simple, Willie. Whether it's face-to-face, email, text, Morse code, smoke signals, we communicate how we feel, and nobody stuffs, right? You know, unfortunately, stuffing is the most healthy. It's like being constipated. Like, come on, man, you can't. You don't get sick.
Yeah,
if you're constipated, you're gonna get sick. And I think the same thing is true in relationships. Like, if you can't express how you feel or what you're thinking, that's an unhealthy relationship. But it's got to be in a safe space.
Okay.
You know, you got to be able to be honest and articulate yourself without any retribution, without any payback. It should be simple. Whether you agree or disagree is different than you've been able to articulate how you feel. And I want to encourage couples to be able to, hey, you know what, talk. You know, it's okay. And how you feel, you don't have to weight it like they did this, they're like this, so I'm out. Like, well, who you gonna find? The next chick you find gonna have more issues. Or she gonna be different? Or she gonna be funny style? You gonna like something else about her that you took for granted with your wife? You know, I tell people, man, look, it's cheaper to keep her, one, right? Two, man, when I met my wife, she was it. You know, she was the one I wanted. So for me, it would be silly for me to even contemplate divorce to find some mythical person out here when I ain't met him yet. I met her. Right? So this mythical person, I don't even know they exist, right? So I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. And unconditional love, healthy communication, good teamwork, respect. I trust her. She handles the money.
Right.
Nobody handles the money. I'm not over here looking at accounts and double checking. Man, I trust this chick with everything. You know, it's 30 years later. We good. Right.
Amen.
So a lot of things go into a healthy marriage.
I was going to say too, one thing that I think is super important is when it comes to arguing, you don't have to participate. You can make a choice. To someone makes a comment, you don't have to respond. And how you respond or your lack of a response, that does everything. So I know how to, okay, you can actually make choices to take the high road. That's it.
So one thing we do, you know, we try to laugh a lot. I think laughing and not taking everything so serious. You know, sometimes just laugh at yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know you're a trip sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Laugh at yourself. But we almost do this bipolar thing that when we're dating, we try to be perfect, right? We're so perfect and so focused on making the other person happy. Then we get married and we do a little flip. And all of a sudden it's about them making us happy. You know, one of the best counseling we ever got was basically it's our job to keep the other person in love with us. You know, it's my job to make sure Antoinette stays in love with me. That's my job. That's not her job. That's my job because I made her fall in love with me before we got married. So it's my job to make sure she stays in love with me. So let me go brush my teeth, wear cologne, take her to movies, buy her flowers. You know, why flip the script?
Right.
Let me do what I did to get her. Let me do what I did to keep her. So it's, to me, is it always that way? No, sometimes I lose focus because I'm working and I'm grinding, but I know better. And so, you know, sometimes I'm sitting there like, man, let me go get this girl some flowers. Man, let me go buy this girl.
Gift at?
Let me go get her a gift. You know, and sometimes it just hits me randomly because I know what she likes.
Amen.
I know what she likes. And
but
so
the same thing, I know what he likes. So I have to be like, okay, I mean, like, all right, honey. I mean, we know each other's love language.
Amen.
Gary Chapman, you know, The 5 Love Languages is a great book.
Yeah.
And you can't sit up here and act like you don't know what your spouse likes.
Yes.
That's right.
What happens, we get selfish.
If you study them, and Dee always says, you must study your spouse. Study them. Find out what they like. Don't you say that?
Yeah. That's what
you have to know.
Yeah.
And both couples, you know, need to provide leadership.
Yes.
You know what? When I'm tripping, she needs to lead.
Yes.
When she tripping, I need to take a leadership role. But if you got two people tripping, one is not willing to be a leader in that moment, in that situation, and just to get everything back to the right state, you know, I don't want to spend too much time, but you know how it is. You got to get to the right state. Yeah. And sometimes we can have a bad day at work or something going on with one of the kids. If you're not careful, you can get out of your natural state, and then next thing you know, you're picking at your partner, or you're being rude or distant or just dysfunctional. But you got to keep yourself in the right state at all times, and that's what healthy marriages require.
I'm gonna say this. I think healthy marriages require sex. We're grown.
All right, praise the Lord.
I like to be honest. I'm like, you know what?
Yes, right.
I would say,
Willie, time to go.
I would say one of the major ways, if you ever want to bring peace to a situation, I mean, sex is one of the most calming, it brings you back. I think that's how you come back to center. That unifying moment is that coming togetherness. And people, I think I've seen couples use sex in a bad way where they're using it as a tool, like I'm withholding, versus, you know what? Honestly, the way we see it, the devil don't want you to come together. So you better defy the devil and you better come together, because that's what he wants to win, and you better not let him win.
Amen.
Wow.
That's a great way to end.
Wow. What a great way. You know what? We have a chapter in the book about sex. It's called Sex, Headaches, and Other Lies. Okay. And we tell people men need sex, women need intimacy, and don't you forget it. Last thing I want to say is y'all talked about the fact that that putting and making sure that you have open communication. And in our TED Talk, we say you got to be friendly, be frank about how you feel, be fair, listen to their side, and then be focused on a win-win. And y'all have done that. I want to again give people options where they can reach you for your coaching before we close, and where they can reach you if they want to get your books, Walter, or get book Walter come speak. Please tell us.
All right. So for the coaching aspect of our business, peakperformershuddle.com, peakperformers with an S.com, peakperformershuddle.com. And for keynoting and books, Walter Bond, Walter, W-A-L-T-R, Bond, BOND.com. And then we also have stuff on Amazon, and just, we're out there.
I want to applaud you for what y'all have built. But what I'm really excited is what you're going to do for the future. I think your future is just outstanding. It's scaling. It's going to be huge, and you're going to make such a difference. You are thinking right. You are moving right, and you're being blessed with each other. Y'all got a great family. You made it a commitment to family. First, you made a commitment to faith. I love that. You know, you pull no punches about the fact that God is an equal part of this marriage. Then faith, then you got family, and then you got finances. And y'all have focused on all. I want to applaud you. I want to thank you for joining us on the Jolley Marriage Show. We got so many comments. People and the folks on Instagram, I know you couldn't see them, but you could hear them. Hopefully that was a blessing to you. You know, you all can go and get the replay on YouTube. It'll be available tomorrow, and it's just incredible. And I want to thank Walter Bond, Antoinette Bond, and their great family, their great focus, and all the great things they're doing. I know we went overtime tonight, folks. We usually do 30 minutes, but this was so good that we had to let it go. Gladys Pemberton was talking about you on Saturday and all the great things you're doing. And thank you, everybody. We're going to go out with music from my jazz album. And Greg Kazera said, awesome show. I agree. So we're going to go out with Close to You. God bless y'all. Here we go.
Right.
Okay, say it again. I'm going to let you go. What'd you say?
Okay, thank you all for being you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because we watch you all, and you are people that we watch. Dee, I've been adoring you from afar. So thank you.
That's right. You still our mentor.
Yes.
A student is never greater than his teacher.
Exactly.
Never.
Yep.
I love y'all. I thank you so much. And thank y'all for your family and what you're doing. This is just incredible. And let's go out with Close to You. Here we go.
God bless you.
All right.
Here we go.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.